Hello and welcome to another episode of Writers Talk. My name is Alex Gryczanowski and I'm the managing editor at the Daily Nebraskan. Every 2 weeks you will hear from a reporter at the Daily Nebraskan what they're working on and why they do what they do so well. So today we are here with none other than Mr. Journalism himself. He's a photographer and assistant news editor at the Daily Nebraskan. Meet Justin Diep. So do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Justin. I'm assistant news editor, photographer. Been at the DN for 3 years now.
Yes. Okay. So where are you from?
Oh, from Omaha,
Yes.
born and raised.
Fire. Me too. And then what do you read about mostly for news?
Uh, I kind of kept, since my freshman year, on the university admin student government beat. So writing about things student government's doing, what the university admin's doing, stuff like that.
Fire. Okay. And then, so you've dedicated like the majority of your semester to reporting on the budget cuts. So for those who don't know, can you just like tell us a little bit about like what's happened with the cuts at the university?
Yeah, so last year in the spring, the chancellor identified the need to cut up to $27.5 million from the budget just from declining enrollment, lower state appropriations, and just over projections on enrollment numbers. So there's a myriad of issues that caused a budget deficit, and the university need to find ways to cut money. And they've been doing this since 2020. So I think by this time around, they've cut over $100 million from the budget. And this time around is a little bit different because they decided to eliminate programs, and they voted on those last week to eliminate Earth and Earth and Sciences, Textiles, Fashion, Merchant Design, Education Admin, and Stats.
So like what do you like foresee is going to happen with like the cuts? Like obviously these programs aren't going to exist, but like do you foresee like any like more cuts coming to the university next semester or anything crazy happening?
Yeah, President Gold, he kind of hinted that likely these aren't the end of budget cuts if things don't change. The university need to find new revenue sources, or else they're going to keep making cuts.
Hmm. So, I guess if you want to, would you like to talk about some of your like stories that you've written for the budget cuts?
Yeah, the big story that kind of I wrote that came out of it was we're trying to figure out why these programs specifically, because they seem to be like great programs that contributed a lot to the state economy and to students' education. So I was leaked a spreadsheet of these metrics. The university was citing that there was performance metrics that of teaching and research metrics that they used to identify these programs that they scored poorly on. Things like student retention rate, graduation rates, and research output. That was leaked to us. I kind of come through it just to see what these programs were. And the big thing that was shocking to me was the Rakes program was on a list of the poorly performing metrics. I brought that up to university to Mark Button, he's the vice chancellor, and he basically said that it scored poorly because it was designed that way. And kind of in my mind, that's kind of why the other programs were also scored poorly. It was designed essentially for a smaller pool of students, little research output, has its own specialized mission like each of these programs do. And then a stats faculty, since they were proposed to be cut at the time, they also dug through the metrics and found egregious errors in how the university calculated these metrics.
Hmm. Yeah. So, I guess what's been like obviously like the budget cuts have been like a little like crazy and everything, and like obviously the football team is bringing in a lot of revenue as well to the university. So, I guess I'm sure people are wondering why the university just can't take money from the football team.
But the way the university is set up is that the athletic funds and the academic side are separate. They can't really cross. Whereas we're fortunate in that aspect. Other universities, a lot of times the academic side has to subsidize the athletic funds because they don't generate money. So Husker Athletics is completely on its own, does its own thing. And technically, because they pay for scholarships for those athletes, that's the money that goes towards the academic side.
And that's about it. Okay, perfect. And then, so what's been like your proudest moment of like reporting on the cuts this semester?
I think just staying on top of it, trying to keeping the university community informed on what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, and you've done a great job with that as well, especially spending like 9 hours at the budget cut hearings or at the Board of Regents meeting. Yeah. So what's been like the most challenging part of like reporting on this, on all the cuts and everything?
I covered budget cuts my freshman year when the first round of cuts happened since I've been here, and that was more just administrative things. So we were just seeing like, oh, where were these, how are these funds cut, and what's going to be the impact. This time around, we're trying to kind of figure out how to show that impact. There's essentially 120 faculty are going to be gone, 300 plus students, their majors are cut. So just trying to show what that means has kind of been the biggest challenge.
Yeah. And I know like your whole story on the metrics took forever to figure out just because it was so confusing to look at. I mean, I saw the spreadsheet too, and it was just like a whole like mess of things to.
And also just trying to confirm
figure
if it was real, if it was a real thing. And I was able to do that by bringing it up to Mark Button, who was questioning how I got it. And then stats faculty, I showed them what I had. It was the same thing as what they dug through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And then let's just kind of like circle back to more of like your overall experience here at the DN. So what's been one of your favorite stories that you've written this year? Anything else besides the budget cuts or
The budget is the main thing I've been working on, so that's kind of what I'm most proud of, what I've enjoyed doing the most.
especially like, just like seeing all of your work throughout the course of the semester has been pretty awesome, especially with like all the cuts, and you've been so on top of it, and you are like super knowledgeable about it. Like, yeah, I don't know, you've just been awesome with that. But yeah, and then finally, what's just like one thing that you think our listeners should know about you in the DN?
Keep reading us. I'm also a student. I make this news for you guys to read. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Justin, it seems our time has run out this week. Thank you for joining me today and allowing our audience to get to know you as a journalist. Today, we heard from Justin Diep, an assistant news editor and multimedia journalist at the Daily Nebraskan. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Writers Talk. This has been your managing editor, Alex Gryczanowski.